How you doing, everybody? It's been a while. Tim here once again, a view from the South Stands, coming to you the day after the kickoff to Toronto FC's 8th and hopefully ahead most successful campaign to date. A wonderful start in Seattle on the turf at Quest Field, where they actually beat the Seattle Sounders 2-1. Obviously, Toronto FC has been significantly retooled. Retooled actually probably is an understatement. Reborn maybe is a better way to say it in this off-season, with the acquisition of some of the best players pedigree-wise to maybe ever suit up in Major League Soccer. And I'm talking, of course, in no particular order, the three big guys, Julio Cesar, Jermaine Defoe, and Michael Bradley, all to varying degrees featured very prominently yesterday, along with a couple of others that I'll talk about as well. I think what yesterday said to me more than anything else, at least to start with this season, and of course we've got a long way to go. We can't, plan the parade route or anything just yet, ladies and gentlemen. But I think what yesterday told me, at least, more than anything else, is that every piece that was brought in, at least for that one game, worked as advertised. And that's definitely something to build on, and that's definitely something that instills myself and a lot of the people that I saw the game with yesterday with a lot of hope, and we'll talk about that as well a little later on. Let's start with the big name. Let's start with the bloody big deal himself, Jermaine Defoe. I think he had two chances to score. What did he do? He scored. He had a wonderful through ball from Osorio, who we'll get to again in a second. Slotted it right home, a nice poacher's goal. The second one, speaking of poachers, he stole it from an errant back pass. Quick as you like. There's 15 minutes gone. There's 2 goals for TFC, and they're home and salted at that point. Dwayne D. Rosario, another famous returnee, a person I've probably, maybe as an individual, I've spoken more about in this space and written more about in this space than any other single player in the history of this team. Didn't feature in the scoring yesterday, but looked quite impressive in his time. One of the things that I noticed particularly is every time that D-Row was doing his thing up top, playing in the 4-4-2 with D-Row, of course, with Defoe, and D-Row, of course, is in there for the injured Gilberto, who is expected back in the next couple of weeks. He did a lot of running off the ball and gave Defoe a lot of space. A lot of those incisive runs that Defoe was making were all due to the fact that D-Row was dragging the defense around with him as well. So that worked as advertised. Michael Bradley, the captain in waiting, did make a couple of errant passes. I'm going to chalk that up to his first game and to the fact that he's playing on one of the crappier surfaces in Major League Soccer, that bloody field turf. But again, he was exactly as advertised as well. He shielded the back four. He actually did a really good job of communicating and making sure everybody on the field was on the same page. He broke up dozens of potential plays that Seattle had in the midfield. Basically, everybody in his zone of control, whether it be the center backs who didn't put a step wrong yesterday, whether it be the attacking mids in Ray and Osorio, everybody around him was better due to his presence. And again, just an absolutely fabulous player. It's sad that Matias Lava had to go, but if we got to get, if we're going to get a Michael Bradley back in return, via con Dios, Matias. Enjoy yourself in Vancouver. Nicholas Osorio, or Jonathan Osorio, I apologize. Nicholas is his younger son and brother in the academy. Jonathan Osorio's through ball to Defoe, I said this on Twitter last night, was probably my personal highlight of the game. It wasn't the goals. It wasn't Julio Cesar's save. He made a spectacular save in the second half. It wasn't either of those. It was the beautiful weight on the pass. He put the ball through. Jermaine Defoe ran onto it, and quick as you like, he actually scored the goal. Without the ball, there is no goal. Absolutely fabulous. And Bradley, again, gives Osorio the ability to sort of, get down with his creative self a little bit. He's able to look for the through ball, to look for the offensive play, knowing that he's got a wonderful player in Michael Bradley covering his rear end. Again, it's all of that spine through the team that Nelson and Bezpachenko and company really wanted to improve in the offseason. Speaking of the spine, the center backs, again, as advertised, not a problem at all yesterday. Again, due to the fact that Seattle couldn't get a lot of sustained pressure, and that surface is really not conducive to a lot of ball control. It's a lot of, attack, counterattack, attack, counterattack, a really chippy style of football. I don't think Daniil Henry in particular and Stephen Caldwell, in general terms, put a foot wrong yesterday at all. Julio Cesar made an absolutely spectacular save early on in the second half. If that ball would have went in, of course, I think Dempsey scored the goal, and I'll get to Dempsey as well in a little bit. If that ball would have went in, again, a different game. It could have ended up 2-2, could have ended up as a late loss, who knows. But again, a money player, a world-class goalkeeper, makes a world-class save. Ray and Jackson, the wingers in the 4-4-2, were quite industrious as well. And of course, the fullbacks weren't too shabby either. Now, I watched the game at the Duke of Gloucester yesterday, which is an away pub that U Sector, one of the supporters groups, actually goes to each and every game. A lot of pretty cynical people, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, but a lot of fans that have been, beaten down by that 7 years of mediocrity were in attendance yesterday. People that have been there since day one, people that haven't missed a game, people that have stood there and supported that team through thick and thin, mostly thin, of course, over the last 7 years. But it was so heartening to see, to a person almost, a real rekindled passion for this team based on the quality of football that was on display. It was really heartening to see some of the old stalwarts really, yelling and screaming and enjoying themselves right back like it was 2007 all over again. Now, before you ask, I've already been asked a number of times, no, I can't get you any tickets to the home opener. I've had about maybe 7 or 8 people actually approach me already. I'm still looking to get one extra. If anybody can help me, that would be really cool. I got a good buddy of mine who I'd really love to take to the game, if at all possible. I'm still looking for one, but as far as getting a seat for yourself, I think you're going to be on your own, or you're going to be at the mercy of Twitter. Ahead, of course, is the home opener this coming Saturday against DC United. And one of the things, speaking of rekindled joy and excitement you're going to see on the part of the fans, is you're going to see a lot of tifos and banners. You're going to see a lot of, I wouldn't be surprised if there's smoke and flares, who knows. Not that I'm party to anything, ladies and gentlemen, but I do know that there's going to be a lot of tifos and banners at the very least on display this week, harkening back, of course, to 2007 and 2008, maybe the glory days, not so much of the team, of course, but of the support of the team. And I think this renewed quality on the field is going to see a renewed quality of support in the stands as well, and that's going to be really special and spectacular. So I think charge up your camera phones and bring them on Saturday next, because there's going to be a lot of really cool things on display. Now, 2014, I think, from a supporter's perspective, is actually going to look a lot more like 2007 than 2013. 2013 was year 3 of, the slide from when they lost that playoff game back in 2009 in New York. That slide continued all the way down to the end of the last season of the last game of 2013. But now it's going to harken back to that rekindled passion that we saw back in the early years of TFC, with a much better team to support on the field. And that's, I think, what's going to be perhaps most exciting, at least from a fan perspective when you're actually at the stadium going forward, is the fact that it's going to feel a lot like 2007 with a kick-ass team to actually cheer for as well. Now, before I end off, I want to talk about one thing, and I want to say screw you to Mr. Clint Dempsey, former teammate of Jermaine Defoe, of course, a designated player, an American international, playing for the Seattle Sounders, one of the better players in Major League Soccer. Did a very unsportsmanlike thing yesterday. He pulled a Vinnie Jones on Paul Gascoigne, and if you don't know what that is, basically he grabbed Mark Bloom in the nuts, in the family jewels, and gave him a good little pull, and Bloom, of course, went down like a sack of spuds. It's violent conduct. The referee didn't catch it, I don't believe. Dempsey didn't get a card. He should have been immediately sent off. If Major League Soccer does not give Clint Dempsey supplemental discipline for what he did against Mark Bloom and against the Toronto FC players, that means that a separate set of rules applies to the designated players that doesn't apply to everybody else. And I really hope, for the sake of competitive fairness in Major League Soccer, that Don Garber listens to his head and maybe not his checkbook, and realizes that no matter who you are, you can't do that kind of thing without paying for it. And if you're on 40 grand a year or $4 million a year, it doesn't matter. You can't be committing violent conduct on the pitch and getting away with it. So let's all hope that Clint Dempsey gets a nice little 3-game ban for grabbing Mark Bloom in the nuts. That's it. I end the first chat of 2014 on testicles. I thank you very much for watching. Hopefully these will get a little less rusty as I get back into the groove for 2014. I want to thank you very much for watching. And again, I'll have another video blog up right after the game against DC next Sunday. See you at the games. Cheers for watching, and come on, you Reds.